Welcome to day 13. Today's word is rise. Not for attention, not for applause, but because your spirit is ready to stop shrinking and start becoming. Rise is a decision, not just to stand, but to stand differently. Rooted, ready, unapologetically awake. You don't rise because life suddenly got easier. You rise because something in you has shifted. Because the version of you that once stayed small, quiet, afraid, or endlessly accommodating is no longer the version you are willing to be. Rising isn't always comfortable. It calls you to let go of old stories, even if they once felt like protection. It calls you to step out, even when your knees still shake. It calls you to believe in the version of yourself that exists beyond fear, beyond doubt, beyond the limits others placed on you. And here's the truth. You didn't come this far to play it safe. You came this far to rise. You rise when you stop waiting for permission. You rise when you stop watering yourself down to keep others comfortable. You rise when you stop shrinking just to preserve the peace. And rising doesn't always look like applause, attention, or success. Sometimes rising is quiet. Sometimes it looks like solitude. Sometimes it looks like finally saying no. Sometimes it looks like walking away from what once felt familiar but is no longer aligned. But still, you rise. And every time you rise, you return closer to the person you were always meant to be. Not perfect, not polished, but present, free, and whole. So today, let this word be more than an idea. Let it be an invitation to rise not just with your body, but with your voice, with your choices, with your life. Today's challenge is this. Take one bold step that reflects your rise. Speak up where you once stayed silent. Choose something that feels a little bigger than your fear and do it anyway. Post that truth. Walk into that room. Make that decision. Stand in front of the mirror, shoulders back, head held high, heart open, and say, I rise. Even if no one else sees it, you will, and that's what matters. And as you take that step, pause to reflect. Because rising isn't only about movement, it's about awareness. Let these reflections speak to you. What have I outgrown, and how am I being called to rise from it? If I stop shrinking today, what would rise in me immediately? What would rising look like? Not tomorrow, not someday, but today. Let these speak gently. Let them spark something alive in you. And now, anchor this word with affirmation. Say it boldly, not as who you were, but as who you are becoming. I rise, not in fear, but in truth. I was made for more, and I no longer shrink to belong. Again, I rise, not in fear, but in truth. I was made for more, and I no longer shrink to belong. Hold these words in your heart center. Lock them in. Take a big inhale in, and an even longer exhale out. Let's take this moment together and close in prayer. If it feels right, bring your hand to your heart center and gently close your eyes. Spirit, thank you for the strength that has been rising in me, even when I didn't feel ready. I've dimmed, I've doubted, I've delayed, but something in me is shifting, and I want to trust it. Help me rise with grace. Help me rise with clarity. Help me rise with fire that doesn't destroy but refines. Strip away the weight of fear. Break the chains of old stories I thought I needed to survive. Release me from the habit of shrinking and awaken me to the fullness of who I already am in you. Give me the courage to walk in truth, not just in silence, but in action. To take up space, not with arrogance, but with confidence. To rise, not just for myself, but as a reflection of your glory. When I falter, lift me again. When I fear, remind me you go before me. When I hesitate, remind me that rising is not about perfection, but about presence. Let my rising be steady. Let it be faithful. Let it be unapologetic. And let it honor the person you always knew I could be. I rise today, Spirit, and I rise with you. Amen. You were never meant to stay small. Rise, as only you can. I'll see you tomorrow for day 14. Same time, different word. Until then, stand tall in your truth. From my heart to yours, I am always with you.